Hello and welcome to Rogers TV Community News. I'm Carla Fitzsimmons. We begin with Waterloo Regional Police Service. It has launched a new safety initiative to crack down on growing retail crime. It is meant to address a rise in significant retail thefts across Waterloo Region.
For us here in Waterloo Region, since 2023, we've seen a 36% increase in retail crime in the region. And while it may not sound like the crime that everybody's sitting down to watch on Netflix, it's certainly something that's important to us here in the region. If you can imagine being a new parent, you're just freshly postpartum and your infant requires baby formula, but you show up to the store for the first time to purchase that and you can't find it because it's been wiped off the shelves. This is the kind of crime that we're after. It's not necessarily something that impacts everybody at all stages of life in that moment, but it's the kind of crime that's organized, it's strategic, it's transpiring not just here in Waterloo Region, but across the country as well. So our efforts in this retail crime focus this month is to target prolific offenders and offenders that are partaking in organized crime across the country. So we know this crime, or at least 80% of this crime, is committed by roughly 10% of that criminal population. So it's a very small group of people that are intentionally committing retail crime across the country. They might be here in Waterloo earlier today, and then they'll make their way to the East Coast in the afternoon and the West Coast a day or two later and carry out the same offenses there. So they're rather indiscriminate with the communities that they are targeting for this, but the impact is huge.
Cami production in Ingersoll will resume in November with fewer workers and only one shift. Roughly 655 employees are expected to remain laid off.
GM informed us last week that we're going to come back on one shift starting November 17th. Going to slow the line speeds down quite considerably. So instead of bringing half our people back, we're only going to bring about not even 40% back. To talk to the company about programs to try and entice people to retire. We only have about 125 that can retire, so obviously it'll be limited, but try and entice people who want to retire or maybe give them a bit of money if they just want to quit and try a different path forward. So we have we're almost in the final strokes of that with the company just to set that up and see how many people want to leave. Volumes are friends, so we need more sales. Our numbers are creeping up, just not as quick as we had hoped or really need, but if not, we'll need another lifeline or another vehicle from GM just to need a paint shop for sure, just something in our plant to try and entice more products, more volume, and get our people back to work.
The province has announced a $5 million cash injection for entrepreneurs to help eliminate barriers for racialized communities. On September 10th, the Minister of Citizenship and Multiculturalism was in Kitchener at the Crafty Ramen to make the announcement.
Talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. Too often, barriers stand in the way of aspiring entrepreneurs from racialized and Indigenous communities, which is why programs like RAISE are so important. And so, on behalf of the Government of Ontario, I'm pleased to announce that we are investing an additional $5 million in the Racialized and Indigenous Supports for Entrepreneurs program for the 2025-26 fiscal year.
The owner of Crafty Ramen is a previous recipient of the Racialized and Indigenous Supports for Entrepreneurs grant program.
The grant came with access to self-education resources that helped me build confidence in areas I didn't even realize I needed to strengthen. But beyond the learning, what really stood out to me was the opportunity to connect with other business owners who share similar backgrounds and face similar challenges.
Entrepreneurs who are eligible for the program receive business training, coaching, and a one-time grant of $10,000. Minimum wage workers will soon be getting paid a bit more. Earlier this month, the province announced it was increasing minimum wage to $17.60. That's a 40-cent boost. The increase goes into effect on October 1st. Grand River Transit is citing a steep decline in riders. This leading to an expected $7.6 million dip in fare revenue. Those numbers come from the GRT's performance dashboard. It's comparing stats from 2024. It's reporting a drop of nearly 2 million riders between January and May. It cites a decline of international post-secondary students throughout the region as a key contributor to the decline, losing out on a large portion of consistent transit goers throughout the year. Automated speed cameras have been a hot-button issue. Recently, Premier Doug Ford doubled down on the use of cameras in municipalities and calling it a tax grab.
They should take out those cameras, all of them. If you want to slow down traffic at school, you put the big, huge signs, big flashing lights, crossing area, people will slow down. This is nothing but a tax grab. I've driven by speed traps aren't even close to school areas. It's nothing but a tax grab. So, you know something? Hopefully the cities will get rid of them, like Mayor Del Duca did in Vaughan, or I'm going to help them get rid of them very shortly.
Last month, the region stated it recorded 2 million instances of speeding and handed out more than 55,000 tickets since the program started in February. 17 speed cameras are currently operating in school zones across Waterloo Region, with plans to bring another 11 into service this fall. At a council meeting, the region's acting transportation commissioner, Doug Spooner, says the funds generated by the speed camera program will be funneled back into road safety, funding infrastructure like roundabouts, speed bumps, and traffic bollards. Committee members discuss how some residents have complained about the program, saying it's a cash grab.
We all know, we get the calls from our residents that speeding is the number one thing for years and years and years consistently that we hear about, and that residents talk to us about, and a reason why people don't feel that it's safe to let their children, walk to school, bike to school, go see their friend, go to work, etc. And so they have to resort to driving. So these numbers give us a snapshot. Again, it's only 17 cameras across different municipalities. So my questions, though, are, 2 million, there's been 2 million speeding incidences, but only 56,000 tickets issued. Why do we issue so few then? When you look at the numbers that way, why is it so few?
I'll start with a quick joke, Councillor McCabe, through you, Chair. That's because we don't run a cash grab program. The real answer is there's two parts to it. So there is obviously a threshold. Council is aware there's a threshold. That threshold is not public because I don't want to reset the speed limit, but there are some instances of speeding that are within a threshold that has been allowed in this program. The second is that we sometimes do have challenges with photo quality as the vehicle passes, vehicles blocking, so there are some like that. But the real reason is we're trying to implement this in a respectful way in which we build community support while we put in these cameras. And so, had we issued 2 million tickets across 6 months, I think we would all consider that unpalatable. And so we're trying to implement this in a way where we are absolutely targeting the right areas with the right safety implementation, but we're doing it in a way that ramps up slowly as people build awareness.
Thanks for that explanation. It's helpful, and I hope that for people around the horseshoe, but also people in the broader community who are using terms like nanny state, this is the nanny state, and this is a cash grab. I hope they look at these numbers and realize this is absolutely not. This is about the safety of our most vulnerable, including little kids to older adults and everyone in between. So,
support staff at Ontario's publicly funded colleges are on strike. This was the scene on Friday at Kitchener's Conestoga College Dune campus. There are 10,000 full-time college support staff across the province on strike. They're seeking better wages, benefits, and job security. Conestoga College is open and classes will continue despite the job action. As part of Waterloo Tech Week, Startup Ecosystems Canada invited students with the University of Waterloo to take part in a fireside chat with an alum and co-founder of PostGrid. Students got to hear about the power of student innovation and alumni leadership.
It takes more than self-belief, it takes more than resources, it takes more than a community or an investment. It takes continuous effort, and this is our way of keep encouraging entrepreneurial mindsets from universities especially. These are the people who are learning what's changing. As we speak, things are changing within tech especially, and we want to garner that approach.
Ultimately, we're looking to build strong companies out of Canada, and that's what Startup Ecosystem Canada really is all about. And we're starting from the ground up. This is where student entrepreneurs are really born. The entrepreneurial mindset, grows. It thrives in environments like the University of Waterloo that, nurtures it.
Startup Ecosystems Canada also hosted its first Future Legends Hackathon in partnership with Sawstock. This event was a high-energy 4-hour sprint that gave students an opportunity to design AI agents that can solve real student problems. The mission was to develop an AI solution that enhances life at the University of Waterloo. The winner of this event received $1,000 in cash. 25 high school students from across Waterloo Region spent the weekend taking part in an emergency services career camp. It's 2 days of physically and mentally demanding hands-on learning for those looking to pursue a career in emergency response. This camp is a joint initiative between Waterloo Fire Rescue, Waterloo Regional Police Services, and the Region of Waterloo Paramedic Services.
This is our 4th annual camp, and the campers get a unique experience to try each of the services through a series of skill stations, and then it culminates in a scenario that allows them to play the role of a police, fire, or paramedic in a multi-agency incident. Any emergency scene, you're going to have to work with your partners in the other emergency services. In the fire service, we do assist at times with patient care, but more predominantly what we do is we make scenes and environments safe for paramedics, much as law enforcement would for paramedics, so they can access safely to provide patient care. I always say we don't cut apart cars without a patient in there, so there's a reason why we do auto extrication in the fire service, and that's ultimately for patient care, to allow them to be handed off and cared for by the paramedics and transported to definitive care. And then of course the police always have all of our backs from a safety and security standpoint on dynamic emergency scenes.
Everybody here is great. Knowing that there's a bunch of people around my age that also have the same interests. I didn't really have that at my school, so I wasn't really sure how many people that I would meet here, and there's a lot of people here that want to do the same thing that I want to do.
I think that this camp gives them a great opportunity to learn what they like the most and what their niche is. So we usually find that at the start of the camp, we start out with 5 campers that want to be police officers. By the end, we might have 10. So it really helps with the decision making and supports them on especially what they want to do after with college. So.
Meanwhile, in Cambridge, the fire department there was hosting its annual open house at its headquarters on Bishop Street. The community got a chance to meet the staff, participate in fun demonstrations, and connect with community services.
We hold an open house every year, second week of September, so the weather's nice and it's not too cold. It's kind of to kick off our fire prevention week, and each year we have a different theme. This year's theme is charge into battery safety, so our focus is on lithium-ion batteries.
We're happy to be here on behalf of Paramedic Services to support Cambridge Fire with their open house today. It's great to be out in the public and get to allow the public to see kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis and how we all work together as a team.
And the doors will be open at Rogers TV this Saturday as we take part in this year's Doors Open Waterloo Region.
This is the 23rd edition of Doors Open Waterloo Region. This year we have 23 sites for our 23rd year, and they're located all throughout the region of Waterloo, throughout the townships and the city. So it's a great lineup, something for everyone, whether you're into architecture or heritage buildings or modern buildings or theoretical physics or churches or fire stations, or there's just a plethora of things for everyone.
Thanks for watching this edition of Rogers TV Community News. I'm Carla Fitzsimmons, and I'll see you on Friday.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments